All right, traders, here you go. Episode number 2 of It Came from the LCS. This is the variant edition. We're going to be discussing variant comics with our shop owners, our collectors. So join us in the discussion. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share the videos. Leave us a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are on the subject. Just a reminder, you can still get your Rogue Trader exclusive Harold's Journey and Bleak Haven exclusive variant covers at theroguetraderutah.com. So here we go. On to the show. All right. So Greg's going through weekly books. So what's that one that you were just talking about? Ultra Mega.
Ultra Mega. That thing is so freaking crazy, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It is, depending on which cover you get, it looks like either like a gritty kaiju robot whatever fight, or it looks kind of cute. So don't be fooled. It's not cute. It is very disturbing, very violent, very crazy. It's it's kind of like if I know this, it's if they made some kind of weird R-rated movie with Ultraman, Pacific Rim, and Godzilla, and just shoved it in there and got a little chemically enhanced before they did it. That's what this book would be. It is so cool. Really good stuff.
Cool. And you're saying you like Black Knight?
Black Knight, the art in this is beautiful.
It is really nice.
Like really, really pretty. I'm not exactly sure who this artist is. Sergio Davia? Sergio, sorry. Yeah, it is really pretty. Man. The cover art's nice. I was like, yeah, that looks pretty good. And then the inside is just so much nicer. It's really pretty.
How many variants do we have on that one? Because that's issue number 1.
That's issue number 1, yeah. I think we got 4 variants total on that. No, wait, we don't. God, we got way more. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we got 7 covers on this thing.
Wow.
So,
and that includes ratio variants?
Yeah. And there is the one ball one, which is kind of pretty. That's not too bad. There is the standard cover, which I think is really nice. There is
is nice.
It's this new artist named Peach Momoko. I don't know if you've heard of her before, but she's gonna make a big splash. Trust me. And that one is actually really pretty.
That is nice. That's one of her hits.
Yeah, and I think this and the Wiccan one,
yeah,
have been really good. I also actually think that it wasn't my favorite book, but I think her Demon Days cover was gorgeous. It was so pretty. I wish the interiors looked more like that cover.
Yeah.
I would have been very happy with it. Yeah, variants. Oh my God, there's so many variants.
Okay, there's been a lot of talk in comic books. I hear a lot recently that people are saying variants are killing comics, and I've got definitely a different view on it than that. You guys saw over the weekend we did our event, and we've got the Black Cat Rogue Trader exclusive covers for a different couple books. He sold out of the Herald's Journey. And these are all variants that Greg has had done for Black Cat Comics. And when you do a variant for a shop, they put your logo on it, so it's obviously advertising good for the shop.
Sure.
So I see a lot of shops that do variants and sell them for outrageous prices. Mm-hmm. You see Scorpion, and some of those places sell those variants for $60-$70.
Yeah, I mean I think it has to do with what the variant is, who the artist is. I mean, if you're paying $40,000 for Alex Ross to do a variant, you have to sell that thing at $100.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, man, it gets crazy sometimes with that. And a lot of it depends on the artist fees. But a lot of the time you can negotiate with the publisher, and say, hey, will you leave out this much for me to pay? And you know what I mean? Just all you can do negotiations with this stuff. It's not like it's set in stone.
Right.
Some people it is. Marvel, DC, this is what you do. That's it.
Right.
But they're, the smaller companies, you can usually, if you know them or get a relationship with them or something like that, you can usually kind of negotiate and mess around a little bit with that.
Hive is announcing their first Marvel variant, and it's a beautiful book.
Yeah. That's a huge gamble because and you're looking, oh yeah, 5,000 books. That doesn't seem like a huge print run for a comic book, right? But that's not the print run. That's one cover's print run,
right?
That one person has to pay for. So one person is literally buying 5,000 books from Marvel, and that's too much. It's too much,
right?
Now, if Marvel, I'm of both minds with this. If Marvel would drop that to 1,000, I think they'd get a lot more variants. But then again, that could flood the market. So it's where do you draw the line there?
But do you think that all those variants really affect the market? Because at that point, aren't you just buying the art? You're not really buying the book.
Yeah.
You're buying a piece of art.
There's so much different stuff with variants. I'm always wary about going back into the 90s.
Right.
Everything variants. I've got stacks of things right here, that I'm waiting to get the rest of these things out of here. We've got, this I'm waiting for the other cover. This I'm waiting for the other covers. This I'm waiting for the other covers. This I'm waiting, everything here I'm waiting for other covers before I can even fill the holds, before I can bag and board them, before I can put them up on the shelf, before I can do anything. And I got to find these covers. And the way they're packed with diamond and everything is a mess because they'll, if I order 50 copies of cover A, 20 copies of cover B, and then I've got, 1 in 50 somewhere. That 1 in 50 can be in the first box or the last box.
Right.
I could possibly get, 15, 16 copies of cover A in one box, and another 10 in another box. And then I go through and there's another 10 in another box. And it takes me all day to do this crap.
Yeah.
And so, it's like, I'm of two minds with this. As a retailer, it drives me crazy. I hate it because it's so time consuming and so obnoxious. But as a collector, I want everything because I am an addict with this stuff. I love this stuff. So, it's tough. It's tough. I don't know if they're making the industry or if they're breaking the industry. I think they're helping keeping it stable more than anything right now.
So one thing that I think is real interesting with when we're talking about variants is, so you've got DC, right, that does 2 covers for every book.
Uh-huh.
They do the trade dress, and then for $1 more than the A cover, and the A cover always is the one that drives price. That you never see the B cover demanding higher prices, and it was
Not anymore.
Well, I think it all depends on who's drawing that B cover. I prefer the B covers myself.
I do too. I think the trade dress is much nicer on it. They feature the art a little bit better.
Right.
More.
Those Matina Batman covers.
Oh God, they're beautiful.
Yeah, spectacular.
And when they started, I don't think a lot of people were ordering. I was ordering them smack dab down the middle with DC when they started doing these. So, and I would do 10 copies of A, 10 copies of B, or 50 copies, whatever, right?
Right.
And at that point, I don't think everybody was doing that. So, like those early cover Bs with Josh Middleton and, Art Germ and, all those guys were like really bumping up pretty hard.
Right.
But now I think when people realize, oh, okay, well, both are available. There's no shortage on this one, and I think it went the other way. There was a shortage on cover A's because everybody was getting those cover B's.
I can see
that's
that.
Maybe why it's driving the price up a little bit.
And now we see people gravitating more to those 1 in 10s, 1 in 25s that by ratio should demand a higher price.
I like those too. There's one thing I wish that they would change about that, and it's not necessarily the publishers. It's just the fact of I wish that people, when they listed those online, would list where those are coming from and what they are. Because so you can go to almost any website on here, and it's like, oh, okay, here's a picture of this, this happened last week with Children of the Atom. Marvel had it on there as cover F or I don't know, whatever it was.
Right.
And people were listing it just like, oh, this cool cover's coming out. And nobody told anybody that it's a 1 in 100 Jim Lee cover.
Right.
So people were coming in going, "Hey, do you have this cover?" And I'm like, "No, what?" You know, and I had 5 people in one day. I'm like, "No, no, I'm not ordering 500 copies."
Right. Right.
And even if I did, it would cost you a lot of money. You don't understand. This is not a $5 comic, you know.
Right.
And I think that they need to do a better job communicating that with the publishers and with a lot of websites too.
And it's really hard because when I do even my FOC video, you don't have all the 1 in 10s and 1 in 25s listed on FOC.
Yeah.
You know that you're getting a 1 in 10 or a 1 in 25, but you don't know what it is. Okay, so what are your thoughts on this? So Berserker #1 came out, and we had, man, I don't even know how many variants in total there were for that one.
Oh my god.
There were so many. And you had the open order. You had 2 open orders. You had 1 in 10, 1 in 25, 1 in 100, 1 in 250. Did you have 1 in 50s?
I had 2 1 in 50s.
Wow.
2 1 in 100s.
Wow. How do you determine which one is the one? You know, obviously that one.
I mean,
you got the 1 in 1,000 that's going to be signed by Keanu Reeves. That's the one that's going to drive the value on that book. What was that other one that recently? The Eternals. The Eternals #1 had 72 covers, and most of them were open order.
Yeah, most of them were.
So you could get, basically, you call your comic shop before FOC, and you can get whatever you want.
And like I said, as a retailer, they drive me crazy. As a collector, I love them.
I can see that.
You know, I mean, and that's always been the tough part of having a shop, is to balance the collector and the business person with it. You know, because I want everything. I mean, if I had my way, I'd be renting out, Radio Shack over there. I'd kick those guys out, and that's where I'd store my comics. You know,
right.
I'd be like, "Hey, look, showroom of my stuff." You know. Yeah, you know, it's such a hassle, you know, and then the only thing I would say is, please, publishers, convey what these are. Be like, you know what, Jim Lee cover 1 in 100, you know, could cost you up to a few $100s at your comic shop. It'd be $50
right.
here, because that's how I price them, you know, but could cost you a couple $100, you know what I mean? And don't be like, "Oh, look, it's a $4.99 Jim Lee book," because that's it makes us look like bad guys.
It really does. I didn't think of that, but it really does.
You know, and I mean, and especially having, you know, that's why I like how IDW does their variants. Okay.
Right, you know? With the RIs.
Yeah, it just says cover RI.
And they have the REs.
Right.
RI, RIA, RE, you know, retailer exclusive, whatever. But they put that up there, and you notice what's missing?
The price.
The price.
Yeah.
Next, I mean, I've had people come in and go, "How come this is $50?" Because it says $3.99 on it. I'm like, because I had to buy 100 of these to get one of these, and I'm trying to make my damn money back.
Right.
You know, I'm a business. I have to make that money back. And I love the way that IDW does it, you know, and it's just great. I mean, and if you want to do something else like that, you know, let's set an industry standard of some sort then, and say, you know what, okay, the cover price for 1 in 100 is $59.99, or, you know, whatever it might be. Put the price on there.
But if you do that, then you're going to run the risk of those of Marvel, DC, of the comic book companies saying, "Okay, you want a 1 in 100." You now have to pay $30 for that one book. If you do that, if you standardize it, then you're going to run the risk of those comic book companies wanting their cut, so they're going to wholesale those at a higher price.
Oh yeah, but I mean, you know, in my mind, I mean, it's a pipe dream. It's never going to happen. Anyway,
right,
you know?
right.
But I mean, in my mind, you know, if you're going to do that, you keep that retailer price how it is. You know?
How's it going?
Right.
Yeah, you keep the retailer price the same, and you put the actual cover price up.
My personal opinion, variants are what killed comics in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Like, you had a foil of everything, you had a die cut of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have boxes full of them. All right, so as far as variants go, good, bad, summary.
Again, my summary: retailer, tired of them; collector, love them. You know, I'm somewhere in between. You know,
Right.
I'm on the fence with them.
And it certainly is cool to see your shop represented on the cover of somebody's comic book.
It is. It's really cool. You know, I mean, you know, and I think store variants, you know, with our logo and everything, are maybe a little different. You know, again, I wish there were some of them were easier to do, but you know,
Right.
yeah, you know, I like them. Most of me says I like them. Crazy. I'm sorry, I keep going. I keep glancing over here because God, that's pretty.
That is my favorite.
That
is my favorite
God, man.
Women Month cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's pretty.
Yeah. There's a whole series of them, right? Isn't he doing the
Uh-huh.
whole series?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or she's doing the whole series of those.
And out of
She-Hulk one.
the She-Hulk
And
one's
the Emma
nice.
Frost one coming out.
The Hellcat one comes out this week as well.
Okay.
The one for Jessica Jones
Man.
is really nice too. But the Spider Woman I think is the best cover.
I'm gonna have a hard time not grabbing the Hellcat one because Patsy Walker's my girl.
Yeah.
Even though I don't like, I can't even remember what book it is, and I don't read that book, and I don't even care because she's my girl. I love Patsy.
Treated so unfairly in the Netflix series.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
I mean,
questionable.
was disappointing.
Yeah, you know, I was still okay. Hellcat the next. Sorry, Patsy. In the Netflix series, you know, I think they got a lot of stuff right with it. You know, and I think she was a fairly good actor for it. I did like her. You know, I thought that the relationship between her and her mom, and the modeling and the comics and all that kind of stuff, you know, and her taking self-defense, and that was leading up to somewhere that I thought it was going to go that it didn't.
Right.
You know, but I do think I was hoping to see a full-blown Hellcat in Defenders, which we did not. But you know, the one thing I did like though is that she even existed there, because it was kind of like that the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie,
Right.
when it's just Dolph Lundgren sitting naked in the sewer. Okay, whatever, dude. But that was all I had at that point. So
Right.
I loved it. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the only Patsy I got, man, and I love Patsy. So
Well, that's what I mean by it was so disappointing. Well, I'm a Defenders guy, so Hellcat's big for me. But to not have her portrayed as just being the kick-ass superhero that she's supposed to be,
yeah,
like that was disappointing. I would even go as far as to say I would rather have seen a show about Hellcat than about Jessica Jones.
I would have to say yes because it's Patsy.
Yeah.
You know, but I also love Jessica Jones. I really like that show a lot.
That was out of the 3 or 4 shows they did. That was by far the best.
Well, and Kristen Ritter kind of annoys me, but she's perfect as the Alias version of Jessica Jones,
Right?
Like the Avengers version. You know, not the Bendis Teen Plus version, but the adult comic Alias version. She was really great as that, I thought.
Oh yeah, she was spectacular.
The show was really good, but I could not finish the first season.
Oh, because the disturbing stuff in it.
That is the only thing I've never been able to finish. Only that.
Let me give you a list of movies.
there are a few out there.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Anyway, yeah, love my Patsy.
Dude, I just picked up a Wizards 1/2 Phantom Menace number 1/2 out of Greg's long box, man. I was pretty stoked to get that one.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, there's a few that you left behind. A few good books.
Not very many. I did leave a couple.
All right, Trader. So we're here with James from Hive Comics. I wanted to bring James on because they've got an exciting announcement. Why don't you tell them about what's coming up?
Yeah, so we were fortunate enough to team up with Marvel and Alan Qua on this book, and have an amazing cover coming out. So we have a blue Virgin variant limited to 1,000, and then we've got another one with the reddish and orange tones. That'll be our trade dress. We're still waiting on Marvel to get back to us with our actual trade dress image, but we'll have that out within the next day or so. We also reached out to Alan last night, and we have lined up a signature series opportunity for it. and we're in the works with him to do some remarks. So we will have those options available as well. 3,000 trade dress, 1,000 virgin.
So hot artist, hot book, and this is once again Hive Comics knocking it out of the park. The cover to have.
All right, traders, we're here with Kenny at the Nerd Store, and we're going to be talking about variants. He's brought some stuff from home, some of his personal books.
Yep, and I got some stuff for the store to show off as well.
Right on. What you guys do here in store is real similar to what they do at Hive, a little bit different, but still, you guys keep to lower print runs,
right,
and more independent books.
Right. I mean, it's easier to manage those books, and those are the ones that could always just pop at any moment. And yeah, at the end of the day, I think we do things that we like for the most part. I mean, I've read all of the exclusives here that I have to show off are all books I've read, and I thoroughly enjoyed. So
nice.
We do try to keep it to stuff that we like here.
You know, one thing I did notice about what Nerd Store does that's different, a lot of rock and roll books. The bosses are really into, they've got the Tool variant, super cool.
Yeah.
Those type of indie books.
Yeah.
The rock and roll stuff is very cool.
Yeah, the rock and roll stuff is awesome. The Tool book really came about. They heard that Tool was publishing a book. They're huge Tool fans. As far as I know, they go to all the shows that come through here. So
nice.
So yeah, they were really gung ho about doing the Tool book. I believe the art on our cover is even fan art.
Really?
It was originally fan art, and they reached out to the person.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool.
Do you, by any chance, know what the print run is on that?
Not off the top of my head. I know we had some medals that were like 100, and I want to say off the top of my head it was a 500 run. Yeah, don't exactly quote me on that, but I think it was 500.
Like, if you get the band to sign that thing would be astronomical.
Oh, that would be insanely cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
The first one I want to show off was our Stray Dogs that we did combo with Hive. Yeah, this was a really good book, and I really love the Blair Witch homage on it. The book is fantastic. If you haven't heard, the pitch on it is it's Silence of the Lambs meets Oliver Company.
Oliver and Company.
Yeah.
So the I'm surprised you even have these in stock still.
We don't. We don't.
You're sold out?
No, we actually just pulled them off of the shelf. It's selling real well. It's an awesome book, awesome cover.
And our artist on this, Staniak.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, Staniak, new and upcomer, you've done a couple covers with him. He did the Ninja Turtles. Oh yeah.
Yep, actually, that's a good transition. I have one of the, again with Hive, and this one we can flip the back. Another one with Hive. The Staniak, this one was also super limited on its print run.
Right. I think you're at 250 on these.
I think that's right. Yeah. But yeah, this is another Staniak. It's incredible. It was my favorite of the last runs.
You guys are doing more. Like, they're doing the full run with Staniak.
I believe they are doing the full run with Staniak. We haven't shown off any of the other covers. We have 1 and 2 that we've shown off.
And what's our third book here?
Our third book here is Crossover 1. This is another joint with Hive. Show off the back just a little bit. This was Gallagher. I love this cover. It's just so great. I love the book Crossover. Donny Cates' joint, and it's bringing in so many characters I didn't expect to see. In addition to the story, is just solid. In
reading the book, I do think that we're gonna see them using crossover to create a connective universe within Image.
I think so as well.
I think that's where our Spawn universe is going to
I'm gonna bring up another book that might be tying into that too, hopefully. So we got Radiant Black. This is the Comic Vault Live cover that they did for Skybound Expo.
Right.
Yeah, I picked this one up. This is another book that I really enjoy. The second issue just came out. It's a lot of fun. Good action-packed story. Has a lot of heart in it. Anyone who's been down under the luck, I feel like, could relate to the character. It's really good. That's one I brought. I definitely wanted to shout out one of my favorite artists. I got my this is signed by Matthew Rosenberg and Jen Bartel. Jen Bartel.
Nice.
Yeah, my variant of Uncanny X-Men 1. Jen Bartel is one of the best.
Yeah, phenomenal work.
I absolutely love her. And her work is insane. And then I love this run from Rosenberg as well, so that didn't hurt at all. But yeah, this is the only signature series I brought with me today. Yeah, this is a good one. This is one of my favorites in my collection. I'm a huge fan of the hip hop covers.
Oh yeah.
So I've got the Miles Morales,
The Miles.
Nas cover. I love this book. And I'm so happy I was able to get it graded. It's such a... I'm a huge Miles fan. Miles is probably one of, if not my favorite characters. I've been a Spider-Man fan my whole life, and he's awesome. I love him.
Do you have the big one? The UF4?
Technically, yes, actually.
Whoa.
Brought it with me. 9/6, I was actually going to talk to the man right here, see what he thought we could do on it. I knew I was seeing him, so I wanted to bring it in. But yes, I do have UF4, bought off the rack myself. This was my read copy, actually. I'm a huge fan of Miles. So yeah, that's the slabs I brought. I brought a couple of other things with me. Some stuff that might be getting slabbed in the future. Just some really recent stuff. The Christian Word,
I love
Cracker
that
Valley.
cover.
I didn't score the Virgin, but I picked up the regular one. I adore this cover, and this book was actually really good. It surprised me. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did going in. It was definitely a surprise for me. And then I just got these in the mail yesterday. Wanted to show them off. I got the Venom webhead covers from Pat Gleason here. Shout out to them over there. These my copies came in really clean, so definitely shout out to Pat Gleason.
Yeah, those are nice.
Got the certificates on the back that you know you bought it from Pat and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've got the Venom. I've seen Carnage. The Carnage one's really
Carnage,
cool.
I think that's next week, actually.
And they said that there's a Swamp Thing coming out.
Yeah,
as well.
the Swamp Thing webhead. Yeah, that just went on FOC, I think, not too long ago.
Right. So what about ratios? Do you pick up ratio variants?
I definitely pick up ratios. I picked up the 1 in 50 webhead from the second print.
Oh, yeah.
So I picked that up, but my opinion is, it's more art in the world. It's
Right.
art that might not be here, that we might not be seeing, if those didn't exist. So I buy what I like.
And I do think, as far as even something like this, where that's an art buy.
Oh, yeah.
You're not buying that book to read it. So,
Oh, not that one.
people saying, "Oh, it's slabbing comics." Well, you're right. You can't read it, but you
Right.
didn't buy it to read.
No, I bought it. I mean, also the Illmatic is one of the greatest albums of all time. So that's why I needed that cover. It was Miles, it was Nas, it was
Right, for sure.
It was all of that.
But
yeah.
there's so many books out there that people are complaining. Like, I hear all the time, because I do the pressing.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, "Oh, it makes no sense to clean and press and slab. You can't read them." And well, they're a piece of art at this
Right,
point.
right.
So you can get a reprint. You can read digitally.
Right.
There's ways to read your books.
Right. There certainly are. And yeah, I'm with you. I got these slabs because I plan on putting them on a wall. I like the fact that there's the label on it. It explains what it is, who wrote it, all of that stuff when it came out. I just personally like the way the slabs look. Again, there's definitely those purists that are like, comics are meant for reading, and I'm like, they are, but they're also an art form, and I want to show it off.
So you're more like, I know we're all speculators to some extent.
To a degree, yeah.
But you're really more of a comic art collector. I mean, you read the books.
Yes.
But,
I read the books because, comics are you'll always get a story, and you'll always get art.
Right.
It's not one or the other with these. You'll always have, if you take away the story, you're left with great art. If you take away the art, you're left with a great story. So I don't see any reason to not collect them for the art and not collect them for the stories.
Right.
That's my opinion, at least.
All right, cool. All right, so that's going to wrap it up from the Nerd Store this week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
There you have it, traders. Another episode of It Came from the LCS. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions or anything you'd like to see on future shows, please drop us a message and let us know. And don't forget, I'm pushing to 1,000, so we've got our first giveaway is going to be a 100. We're giving away a Spider-Man slab, a 9.8 from CGC. At 200, we're going to give away the Peach Momoko Virgin variant, 9.6 CGC. It's a Hive Comics exclusive. And at 300, we've got a Spawn issue 300 Virgin variant, 9.8 CGC slab. We're going to give these away randomly to people who comment on all of my videos up to that point. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll get you entered to the drawing. And wait till you see what we have coming in the future. I've got to deal with Hive Comics, and they always take care of me with some spectacular variants that I'm going to pass on to the community. Make sure you check out the stores that are mentioned in the video, and we'll see you next time, traders.